How do you react when someone pushes your buttons? We've all been there. That moment when anger starts to bubble up inside us, threatening to spill over. It's a feeling that can catch us off guard and leave us struggling to maintain our composure. But what if there was a better way to handle these situations? What if you could turn these moments of frustration into opportunities for growth and understanding? In this video, we're going to explore powerful strategies to help you manage your anger when others trigger it. We'll dig deep into the roots of anger, uncover hidden emotions, and learn practical techniques to stay calm under pressure. By the end, you'll have a toolkit of effective responses that can transform your relationships and boost your overall well-being. Let's start by looking at the anger trap many of us fall into. When someone says or does something that irritates us, it's easy to react quickly and harshly. We might snap back with a cutting remark, raise our voice, or even storm off. These knee-jerk reactions might feel satisfying in the moment, but they often lead to regret and damaged relationships in the long run. Think about the last time you lost your temper with someone. How did it affect your interaction? Did it solve the problem, or did it create new ones? Chances are, giving in to anger only made the situation worse. It's like throwing gasoline on a fire. It might feel powerful for a second, but it ultimately causes more destruction. The negative effects of quick temper reactions go beyond just the immediate situation. Over time, they can strain our relationships with family, friends, and co-workers. People might start walking on eggshells around us, afraid to speak openly for fear of triggering an outburst. This can lead to a breakdown in communication and trust, eroding the foundations of our most important connections. But the impact of unchecked anger doesn't stop there. It also takes a toll on our personal well-being. Frequent anger can lead to increased stress levels, elevated blood pressure, and even contribute to heart problems. It can disrupt our sleep, interfere with our ability to concentrate, and leave us feeling drained and unhappy. In essence, by giving in to anger, we're not just hurting others, we're hurting ourselves too. So what can we do to break free from this destructive cycle? The first step is understanding our anger triggers. We all have certain situations or behaviors that are more likely to spark our anger. For some, it might be feeling disrespected or ignored. For others, it could be dealing with perceived unfairness or incompetence. By identifying these hot buttons, we can start to anticipate and prepare for challenging situations. Take a moment to reflect on your own anger triggers. What types of situations tend to get under your skin? Are there particular phrases or actions that reliably set you off? By becoming more aware of these patterns, you're already taking a big step toward better anger management. It's also important to recognize that our anger triggers often have deep roots in our past experiences. Maybe you had a parent who constantly criticized you, so now any form of criticism feels like a personal attack. Or perhaps you were bullied as a child, making you extra sensitive to any perceived slight or injustice. Understanding these connections can help us approach our anger with more compassion and insight. Now that we've identified our triggers, let's talk about one of the most powerful tools in anger management: the power of pause. When we feel anger rising, our instinct is often to react immediately. But by intentionally creating a gap between the trigger and our response, we give ourselves the chance to choose a more constructive path. This pause doesn't have to be long. Even a few seconds can make a big difference. In that brief moment, take a deep breath. Feel the air filling your lungs and then slowly release it. This simple act can help activate your body's relaxation response, bringing down your heart rate and blood pressure. As you breathe, try to mentally step back from the situation. Imagine you're watching it unfold on a screen rather than being caught up in the middle of it. This perspective shift can help you see things more objectively and respond more calmly. Another powerful technique during this pause is to use a quick grounding exercise. Focus on your senses. What can you see, hear, feel, smell, and taste right now? This brings your attention to the present moment, pulling you out of the emotional whirlwind of anger. By creating this space between stimulus and response, you're giving yourself the gift of choice. Instead of being at the mercy of your immediate reactions, You can choose how you want to respond. This is where true emotional maturity and strength lie. Once you've created that pause, the next step is to reframe the situation. Often, our anger comes from a particular interpretation of events, but that interpretation might not be the whole story. By looking at things from a different angle, we can often diffuse our anger and find more constructive solutions. Start by considering the other person's perspective. What might be going on in their life that could explain their behavior? Are they under stress? Do they have information you don't? This doesn't mean excusing bad behavior, but it can help you approach the situation with more empathy and understanding. Try to come up with alternative explanations for what happened. If someone cuts you off in traffic, instead of assuming they're a selfish jerk, consider that they might be rushing to an emergency or simply made a mistake. By giving others the benefit of the doubt, we can often avoid unnecessary anger and conflict. This reframing process can also help us uncover the emotion behind the anger. Anger is often described as a secondary emotion, meaning it's usually covering up another, more vulnerable feeling. By digging deeper, we can identify what's really going on beneath the surface. For example, if you get angry when your partner is late, the underlying emotion might actually be fear. Fear of not being respected, fear of being abandoned, or fear of not being important to them. Or, if you get angry at a co-worker's mistake, you might be feeling frustrated about your own perfectionism or anxious about the project's success. By identifying these root emotions, we can address the real issue more effectively. It's much more productive to say, "I feel worried when you're late because it makes me think I'm not a priority," than to lash out in anger. This approach opens the door to genuine problem-solving and deeper connection. Speaking of communication, let's explore some effective strategies for expressing ourselves when we're feeling angry. One of the most powerful tools is using I statements. Instead of saying, "You always do this," or "You're so inconsiderate," try framing your feelings in terms of your own experience. "I feel frustrated when this happens," or "I'm feeling hurt by this situation." This approach does two important things. First, it takes the blame out of the conversation, making the other person less likely to get defensive. Second, it clearly expresses your feelings, helping the other person understand your perspective. Active listening is another crucial skill for managing anger-inducing situations. When we're angry, we often focus solely on getting our point across. But by truly listening to the other person, we can often find common ground and solutions we might have missed otherwise. To practice active listening, try to focus completely on what the other person is saying. Don't interrupt or start planning your rebuttal in your head. Instead, really try to understand their point of view. When they're done speaking, paraphrase what you heard to make sure you understood correctly. This not only helps clarify any misunderstandings, but also shows the other person that you're genuinely trying to hear them. Remember, the goal in these situations isn't to win an argument, it's to solve a problem and maintain a healthy relationship. By expressing your needs clearly and listening actively, you create an environment where real communication can happen, even in the face of anger. Now let's talk about an often overlooked aspect of anger management: self-care. The truth is, we're much more likely to lose our temper when we're stressed, tired, or overwhelmed. By taking care of ourselves, we can increase our capacity to handle challenging situations calmly. Stress reduction is key here. Find activities that help you unwind and make them a regular part of your routine. This could be reading, gardening, playing music, or any other hobby that helps you relax. The important thing is to make time for these activities, even when life gets busy. Regular exercise is another powerful tool for managing anger. Physical activity releases endorphins, which can improve your mood and reduce stress. It also provides a healthy outlet for pent-up energy and frustration. Whether it's a brisk walk, a gym session, or a yoga class, find a form of exercise you enjoy and make it a consistent part of your life. Mindfulness and meditation practices can also be incredibly helpful in managing anger. These techniques train your mind to stay present and observe your thoughts and feelings without getting caught up in them. Even just a few minutes of mindfulness practice each day can make a big difference in how you handle anger-inducing situations. While these strategies can help in the moment, it's also important to think about long-term solutions for managing anger. One key aspect of this is developing emotional intelligence. This involves not just recognizing and managing your own emotions, but also being able to understand and respond to the emotions of others. You can build your emotional intelligence by regularly reflecting on your feelings and reactions. Keep a journal where you write about emotional experiences and what you learned from them. Practice putting yourself in others' shoes and imagining how they might be feeling. Over time, this increased awareness can help you navigate challenging situations more smoothly. Another important long-term strategy is building resilience. Resilience is our ability to bounce back from difficulties and adapt to change. The more resilient we are, the less likely we are to be knocked off balance by anger-inducing situations. You can build resilience by challenging yourself in small ways, learning from your mistakes, and maintaining a growth mindset. Remember, every difficult situation is an opportunity to practice and improve your anger management skills. Creating healthy coping mechanisms is also crucial for long-term anger management. These are go-to strategies you can use when you feel anger rising. It might be taking a short walk, doing some deep breathing exercises, or listening to calming music. The key is to have several options ready so you can choose the most appropriate one for any given situation. Now let's talk about a powerful tool for managing anger that often gets overlooked: forgiveness. Holding on to grudges and resentment is like carrying around a heavy weight. It drains our energy and keeps us stuck in negative emotions. Learning to forgive, both others and ourselves, can be incredibly liberating. This doesn't mean excusing bad behavior or putting yourself in harmful situations. Rather, forgiveness is about letting go of the anger and resentment for your own peace of mind. It's recognizing that holding on to these negative feelings hurts you more than it does the other person. Forgiveness has numerous benefits for personal growth. It can reduce stress, improve heart health, and boost overall well-being. It allows us to move forward and focus on positive aspects of our lives rather than dwelling on past hurts. Cultivating forgiveness takes practice. Start by reflecting on situations where you're holding on to anger. Try to see the larger context and remember that everyone makes mistakes. Consider writing a letter expressing your feelings. You don't have to send it. Gradually work on releasing the anger and choosing to let go. Remember, forgiveness is a process, not a one-time event. Be patient with yourself as you work on developing this skill. While working on managing your anger is a personal journey, it's important to remember that you don't have to do it alone. Seeking support can be incredibly valuable in this process. Talking to trusted friends about your anger management goals can provide accountability and encouragement. They might also be able to offer different perspectives on situations that trigger your anger. For more structured support, consider professional help options. A therapist or counselor trained in anger management can provide personalized strategies and help you work through underlying issues contributing to your anger. Support groups can also be incredibly helpful. Being around others who are working on similar challenges can provide validation, inspiration, and practical tips. Look for anger management groups in your area or consider online options. As you work on implementing these strategies, it's crucial to practice patience with yourself. Change doesn't happen overnight, especially when it comes to deeply ingrained emotional responses. The key is to focus on small steps and consistent effort. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small it might seem. Did you pause and take a deep breath before responding to a frustrating email? That's a win. Did you express your feelings using I statements during a disagreement? Excellent work. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. There will likely be times when you slip back into old patterns, and that's okay. What matters is that you learn from these moments and keep moving forward. Consistency is key in applying these new skills. Try to practice your anger management techniques even in small, low-stakes situations. This helps build the neural pathways that make calm responses more automatic over time. The key points we've covered: Understand your anger triggers and the impact of unchecked anger. Use the power of pause to create space between trigger and response. Reframe situations and identify the emotions behind your anger. Communicate effectively using I statements and active listening. Practice self-care through stress reduction, exercise, and mindfulness. Develop emotional intelligence and resilience for long-term anger management. Cultivate forgiveness to let go of grudges and resentment. Seek support from friends, professionals, or support groups. Practice patience and celebrate small steps of progress. Remember, learning to manage your anger is a powerful act of self-improvement. It's not just about avoiding blow-ups. It's about creating more positive relationships, reducing stress, and living a more fulfilling life. We encourage you to start applying these techniques in your daily life. Pay attention to your anger triggers, practice pausing before reacting, and work on communicating your feelings more effectively. With time and practice, you'll likely notice significant improvements in how you handle challenging situations. Your experiences and insights are valuable, not just for your own growth, but potentially for others as well. We invite you to share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. What anger management strategies have worked for you? What challenges have you faced? Your input could provide inspiration or support for someone else on this journey. Thank you for taking the time to invest in your personal growth. By working on managing your anger, you're not just improving your own life, you're contributing to a more understanding and compassionate world. Keep practicing, stay patient with yourself, and remember that every small step forward is a victory worth celebrating.